Well, hey there. Welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If you are brand new to this channel, yay, I'm so glad you found it. I've been waiting for you. And if you're a subscriber, thank you so much for returning. I truly appreciate your support. And as always, if this video is helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new, subscribe. Yay, thank you so much. All right, so as you know, my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or sometimes both watching a specific movie. So today, the specific movie I'm reviewing is called Mending the Line, distributed by Blue Fox Entertainment. This inspiring veterans movie releases on June 9th, 2023. The movie is rated R and is 2 hours and 2 minutes long. That's pretty long. But my movie review mom grade is, drum roll, please. I know, how many film critics give the score at the beginning of their review? Well, I guess you could say I'm different. So, but I don't want you to turn away and move off to other channels. Let me explain why I'm giving it the grade that I am. And the grade that I am giving it is an A-. I really enjoyed it, and I think that you will too. I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about after you watch the film, interesting lines, funny lines if there are any, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that I think you might also like. All right, you ready? Let's dive in. The military-centered movie was directed by Joshua Caldwell and directed by Stephen Camelio. It has already won the Valor Award at the San Diego International Film Festival. So kudos to the team. On a personal note, my stepfather was a retired Marine, and there are a lot of retired Marines in this film. He loved his time in the military service and was proud of being a Marine. It defined him until the very end when he was buried in a veteran cemetery with honor just last year. My father also served in the Navy, and one of my sons is currently serving in the Army. I am so grateful for the valiant men and women who faithfully serve in the military on behalf of all of our citizens. So if you're a veteran, thank you so much. And this movie is coming out just after Memorial Day. I wish they could have bumped it a little closer or even right before Memorial Day, but even still, it'll put you in the patriotic mood. So there are a lot of things I really liked about this film. First of all, the charming cast includes Brian Cox, Cinco Walls, Wes Studi, Patricia Heaton, and Perry Matfield. Now, I hadn't seen Brian Cox in anything lately, so it was really great to see him. He does a fantastic job playing an aging, crusty, stubborn vet who hasn't listened to music since Creedence broke up in '72. That's what one of his friends says about him, which just made me laugh. That's a long time to go without music. Cox also serves as the executive producer for the film. Now, at first, I didn't enjoy Perry Matfield's mopey character, but she really grew on me, and I was able to see how naturally gifted she is as an actress to present this woman who is struggling with PTSD in her own way. And we see a lot of very wounded characters, and they're all dealing with their previous challenges and current challenges in different ways. There's gorgeous cinematography by Eve Cohen. We get to see some stunning landscapes in Montana. The movie begins with a deadly war scene in Afghanistan somewhere, but the rest of the movie is gentle and focuses on the healing relationship between two veterans specifically, but others as well. The story takes an honest look at how the aftermath of war affects people in a variety of ways. The sweeping musical score by Bill Brown perfectly underscores every moment and emotion. The movie really relies heavily on fishing metaphors, as we're all like fish swimming against currents in our lives, right? One of the books that several characters are seen reading is called Casting Forward by Steve Ramirez and Bob White. The insights and the imagery are inspiring. At the end of the movie, we get to see pictures of real veterans fishing on a river, as it has now been proven to be extremely therapeutic for those who are recovering from post-traumatic stress disorder. One of the characters in the movie explains that fishing is the only time that he doesn't have to think, and that's the only time he can really feel peace. And I thought that was interesting, and indeed they've proven that to be scientifically true. And that's why so many veterans are now developing the habit of fishing, or the hobby of fishing. Now, there were only just a couple of things I didn't like or just thought could have been done better. First of all, the movie is very slow moving and takes, honestly, too long to say what it wants to. The scars on Sequel Walls' character's legs look super fake. And I was like, oh, I think they could have done better than that. But really, that's kind of the only special effects, other than the war scenes at the very, very beginning. Other than that, I thought the movie was kind of easy breezy, leading you into some wonderful, profound lessons of life and love and loss. Now, let me share some tips for parents with you. I think kids might be bored unless they're really into fishing or they have loved ones in the military. There is profanity, including F-bombs, and that's really what gives the movie its R rating. There's talk of death, some shooting during the war scenes, and actually another one that I just now thought of, and some alcohol, and people struggling with PTSD. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well in the movie are PTSD, of course, healing, brotherhood, fishing, therapy, fishing as therapy, aging, accepting change, damaged people, wounded warriors, they get a little shout out, rehabilitation, survivor's guilt, which is very real, community, and finding peace. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines just so I can share them with you. And that gives you kind of a taste and a flavor of the script writing and the dialogue. I didn't write down any funny lines because it's more of a serious type of drama, but I did write down some interesting lines, and you can see them all on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. So some of the interesting lines include this first one by Dr. Burke, who's played by Patricia Heaton. And who's not a fan of Patricia Heaton? She says, "No one heals the same." And that's sort of the underlying theme of the entire movie, really, that we need to be gentle with ourselves and others when trying to overcome these emotional traumas, because everybody's going to react differently. Now, Cinco Walls says something interesting as a therapist is talking to him and asking him, why did he do such and such? And he says, "I wasn't punished, so I punished myself." And he's referring to that survivor's guilt, which, as I mentioned, is a very real emotion and needs some therapists and some counseling to really work through that. Another line is one that I like by Brian Cox. His character's name is Ike Hendrickson, and he's trying to teach another character how to do fly fishing. And it's frustrating, of course. And so Brian Cox's character says, "You've just learned the most important part of fly fishing, humility." In other words, you're going to look a fool, you're not going to know what you're doing. And that's kind of how it works. Another sweet line that just broke my heart was when a character is talking to another character, and she is really struggling. And the other character is kind of just like, "Okay, get over it, on with your life," kind of a thing. And so Irene Bedard plays the character, Mrs. Red Cloud. And she says, "How is someone supposed to dance when part of them is buried in the ground?" Referring to her soldier who has now died and is buried in the ground. And again, there are so many heartfelt moments and sad, honest moments about what these veterans and their family and friends go through, especially returning from combat. So before I go, let me introduce you to a few other films that I think you'll also really like if you like this theme. The first one is called Thank You for Your Service. It's a drama, and it's also about a veteran coming back from combat and how difficult it is to adjust to civilian life. Another movie that's based on a true story is called The Last Full Measure. And this one is really special because it's based on a true story. And it kind of goes back and forth a little bit in the timeline as you see these older vets who are reflecting on what they had done in the past. Two more movies. One is called Coming Home. again, how to adjust to that civilian life and the PTSD that all of our soldiers go through when they're in combat and combat zones. And then finally, the last one is called Brothers, and it addresses that brotherhood of camaraderie that the soldiers get, that they're not necessarily fighting the enemy, but they're there protecting the soldier on both sides of him or her, right? All right, and then the last one is one that just came out. It's fantastic, offers incredible Oscar-worthy performances, and it's called The Covenant. So check out my recent review of that film as well. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. When you get a minute, run over to Facebook and join our Facebook group called Movie Review Mom. You can also find me as Movie Review Mom on Instagram and also as my author name, Trina Boice. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.